This week's US CQM Forecast Alert is monetary policy under 8% inflation and minus 2% PCE. We have updated many monthly economic indicators this week. PCE has been revised upward due to increased employment in the service industry. The March international trade revised the real GDP of PCE forecast downward, while April employment adjusted the real GDP upward. Inventory changes in manufacturing industry were revised upward. Residential and structural investment were adjusted downward. Stock prices modified downward real GDP forecasted by PCE. As a result, the economic growth rates on both the expenditure and income side have been revised upward, but both are expected to be negative growth. The latent true economic growth rate is forecasted to be minus 2.48%. The GDP price deflator has risen to about 9%, and headline inflation has increased to about 8%. The core PC price deflator is as high as 5% or less, but there is no upward trend. PCE's economic forecast fell to 0.56% due to the March trade statistics updated on May 4th, but it was revised upward to 1.20% by updating April employment statistics on May 6th. PCE will revise economic growth downwards due to the fall in the stock prices in May, caused by interest rate hike. This week's CQM forecast headline inflation will rise 7.8%, while real PCE will fall minus 2.26%. It shows that monetary policy is very difficult. The Fed has shifted from data-dependent monetary policy to the once failed forward guidance monetary policy. This table shows from 2009 to 2015, the Fed introduced monetary policy by forward guidance in order to maintain zero interest rate policy, but this table shows that it failed. Therefore, the Fed subsequently introduced a data-dependent monetary policy. Conclusion from this week's CQM Forecast Alert. First, monetary policy to curb inflation in the face of negative economic growth is difficult. Second, the Fed has pledged to gradually raise the policy rate to 2.4% by year's end, which results in neither stimulate nor restrains economic growth. Third, the Fed suggested several consecutive policy rate hikes after the 0.5% policy rate hike on May 4th. Fourth, the Fed will fail in soft landing in shifting from data-dependent monetary policy to forward guidance monetary policy. This slide contains additional information about this week's detailed CQM forecast, the original developer of CQM and CQM theory papers,